Good morning, I hope you're well. This is my weekly real estate market update, and today I want to share with you what the forecast for property prices look like over the next 12 months. So basically from now until the end of April 2025. So stay tuned for that. Interesting marketplace at the moment. It's been an interesting marketplace for the last 12 to 24 months in my opinion, but certainly right now there's a whole combination of things that are happening that's creating this level of confusion and uncertainty. We don't really know where the property market's going, and we can all sit here, myself included, making predictions about what's to come. But let's have a look at the marketplace from a bird's eye view across Australia at the moment. Now, different reports mention different things, and I'm going to talk about a few contradictory sort of opinions in the marketplace at the moment. But one thing's clear is that regardless of the uncertainty in the market, regardless of the interest rates where they are right now and what they might do, property prices still seem to be growing, right? And some markets in particular more than others, but nationally in April, property prices went up 0.6% to the end of April. For the year, 10.5%. Now that's a report shared by Yardney Property Group, who looks at property insights every single week. So fairly accurate data there, 10.5% growth over the last 12 months, which is huge. So what's going to happen in the next 12 months? Well, that's what we're going to try and figure out as well. But the reason why property prices continue to do that, even though there's this economic uncertainty, inflation's quite high, the RBA doesn't know what to do about the interest rates. Thankfully, last meeting this week on Tuesday, they held that cash rate at 4.35%. There was a lot of media speculation talking about rate rises. Yet a few weeks back, they were talking about rate cuts. However, leading economists still believe that there'll be some rate cuts later this year, and hopefully that's the outlook, but you just don't know. The RBA might have to intervene, step up and raise that cash rate if that inflationary pressure continues. And so far, the inflationary pressure isn't coming down quite as quick as the RBA would like. But whatever the case is, property prices seem to be growing. Now, we saw a more moderate March quarter compared to previous quarters, and this is all reported, by the way, in my blog article, so you can see the charts there. Matusik, who does a weekly report as well, generally weekly, Matusik reported about median house prices, and he showed that for the March quarter, median house prices have actually dropped since the December quarter. Now, that's probably fairly typical because January, February, pretty slow anyway, and so you'd expect that to happen. And what I thought was the reason for the median prices, because I assessed it across here in the Sunshine Coast on the hinterland and looked at the surrounding suburbs here, and I saw that that median value has lowered down. So it's lowered down a little bit in most suburbs. Some suburbs are up a bit, like Nambour. Median house prices there are actually up. So I thought it was a reflection that more people are moving towards lower end priced properties. That's what I thought, right? Makes sense. So when there's uncertainty in the market and interest rates are higher, people have less ability to finance higher priced properties, acreage properties, premium properties, and more people seem to be pushed towards the lower end market. Now, that was backed up in a report by Tim Lawless this week in CoreLogic, who suggested that across Australia in most markets, there seems to be more demand pushed towards affordability, so properties in those lower price categories. So Matusik's report didn't really align with that. It didn't suggest that that was the reason why that median's come down, but that's my assessment of it anyway. I believe there is more demand in that lower price category at the moment, which is what's skewing that median price in our local area here on the Sunshine Coast a little bit down. But whatever the case is, the one thing that's clear is that there is a shortage of properties, and that shortage is really what keeps pushing that demand up. There's a mass population increase still happening in Australia, and you can see this in our capital cities. Brisbane reported like close to 19% year-on-year price growth, and that's just because there's more and more people moving to these places and less properties available. Now, if we had an influx of properties come to the market suddenly, I think that would change things quite dramatically. But at this stage, it's not happening, and the future of that to change doesn't seem likely either, because in the building sector, new home builds, there seems to be less opportunities for that over the next 12 to 24 months. And I guess a lot of people that are currently living in a home are looking around going, there's not much available. Why would I sell up here if I can't find something suitable? So that's really what's happening in the property market. Now, if you look at the price growth predictions, and I reported on this at the start of the year, I actually think we'll see on the Sunshine Coast prices between now and April next year grow by about 7%. Matusik is a bit more conservative. He actually thinks nationally price growth will be between 2 and 4%. So it really depends what the RBA will do with that interest rate between now and the end of the year. If there is a rate rise, I would expect that we will see prices go down a little bit. If there's a rate drop, I think we'll see competition and we might even see prices push up a bit. But at this stage, it's very uncertain. A lot of economic factors suggest that inflationary pressure will come down. It looks like unemployment might rise a bit. It looks like people are already feeling the burden of increased interest rates, plus the costs of living and energy prices, etc. So that might flow through and that will then reduce spending and will be reflected in the figures and hopefully bring that inflationary down to a point where the RBA is happy enough to not have to increase those rates. That is my weekly real estate market update. I hope you've enjoyed this. If there's anything we can help you with, reach out. You can check it out at martinuzzi.com.au. Have a great week ahead.